When we left you last, we were just coming back from Pender Island at Bedwell Harbor. On our way back, we decided that once we got back to the marina, it might be a good time to fill up our fuel tanks. Alright, we're back at the marina, and we're going to play a game here. The game is, how much diesel will it hold? So, right here, we have tank 1. Tank 1 is being filled right now, and then we move over to the other side and do tank 2. Let's see where we end up at. Well, we're still filling up the first tank here, but we're starting to notice the boat is taking a bit of a list. It means this side is obviously getting quite a bit heavier with fuel. Well, we'll see where we get to. All right, well, we finished getting our fuel. Total was $710. That included $25 of gasoline for the dinghy, $23 of additive, and about $658 of diesel. Looking at that, that was about 30 hours of engine operation, and that was since at the end of August, I believe we filled up last. So not too bad. We've covered quite a few anchorages and out in the fall for the remainder, or for the beginning of this year. So we're pretty pleased with that. That's about what we expect, and well worth the recreational value that we achieved from it.
What you doing?
Well, I'm just trying to organize this dunnage box here because it's a little bit messy, as you can see. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a better system here for stuff. Trying to find homes for things. And easier for...
Trying to find stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all done. It doesn't like look too much cleaner, but it's a bit easier to access things, and it actually closes properly now. So that's really good.
This is 4 squares, so we can have 4 squares.
So we're just at the boat here cleaning. And something that I've noticed, and we've all noticed, is that in the water, there's like a lot of oil and stuff, or fuel or something, and it's like all around the boat, and it's been here for quite a while.
I am I'm off to the propane refit company that takes those horizontal steel tanks from our boat. A lot of bayliners have them, many other boats have them, but they're those horizontal steel propane tanks that have kind of a spit valve on top. They're not necessarily like the typical barbecue tank. They have a 10-year inspection requirement. They restamp the date that it's been inspected, and then you can get them filled at the gas station like you normally. Often, if you show up with one of those tanks, they're a little bit different than the barbecue ones, so they already don't really like them that much. And if they find any excuse, like it hasn't been date stamped recently, a lot of the time they don't even know that it's a 10-year. But if they find any excuse why they maybe shouldn't be touching it, they'll usually exercise that right, and then you're not going to get propane in that tank, and you might have to go to a few gas stations before you can. But this one hadn't been actually inspected since it was new, and that was like 1995. It has like actually when it was brand new and they deployed it to the boat at the time of manufacture. So I certainly can't really blame them for not wanting to touch that. With that said, the tank is totally safe. It's been in a locker that isn't exposed to any sort of salt water or salt air, or even, or you know, and it's in extremely good shape. And you know, there's a lot of people who will look at it logically and say, hey, it's fine, but by requirement it does certainly do for its inspection. So anyway, that's what we're doing today, was we're going to go pick up that tank, and they've inspected it. I don't know if they changed the valve, I'm not sure if they repaint it, but they should put a tag on it or stamp the tank to say it has been inspected, and they fill it up. So then we are good to go for the year on propane. But anyway, we'll see if they got it inspected and got it approved, and if we have a propane tank, or we have to reset up the propane locker for a different style tank. All right, well, we're back at the boat now, and we picked up the propane tank. So they did put a brand new valve in it, and then this is what they'll be looking for at the fill up, is this, looks like this plate with this code here. So that should be the end of having problems when we go to get propane with the tank. It was always kind of a touch and go thing whether or not you're going to get propane that day. So anyway, we got that sorted. So this is in the Victoria Saanich Peninsula area. There's a outfit that does do this. I'd imagine you probably have to look around, but most locals, there's probably a service place that can service these tanks. I'm not too sure about other places, but there's at least one in the Victoria area on southern Vancouver Island. So if you're looking for the place is Vancouver Island Propane Services. I recommend them. They were quick. They got it done in a couple days. And okay, so just putting this propane tank back in, I had to empty out the entire contents of the locker. So we have the locker just down here, and one thing I discovered was this doesn't really push back in, and the new valve, because it's one of those newer style valves, it's actually offset that way another, I want to say probably about an inch or so, which was kind of causing this to sort of go sideways because it couldn't retract further. So to make up that space, I ended up actually taking the corner out of this, taking the corner and cutting it off of this, you know, the King Starboard polymer box that it sits in, just so I could slide the box this way a little bit to make room for that hose. That may happen if you have this valve replaced. I suspect that those newer valves versus the one, the older style, it has that offset difference. So keep that in mind. If you're wanting to drop the tank in and go, you might have to play around with it for a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty easy. You just trim off a little bit of that that plastic holder that the tank sits in, and it's a nice easy fix, and it doesn't cause any harm or anything like that. But then at least the hose fits properly.